way down in the water.
I held his heartbeat in my hand.
Way down in the hole.
All that time he was gone, I only prayed for him.
Over there, I was a liberator. People lined up in the streets waiting for us.
Sometimes I actually miss it.
Yeah, me too.
I'm coming back from the fire.
You the one always talking about our own and our own parcel, the only way to get up from under their foot.
Crawling back from the sky.
I don't want you working for them.
I won't be working for them. I'll be working for us.
Coming back from the fire.
Went off to fight for my country to come back and finally hadn't changed a bit.
I don't know what they let you do over there, but you in Mississippi now. You use the back door.
Hey everybody, welcome to What the Flick. That's Alonzo, that's Christy, I'm Matt. They are gonna talk about Mudbound, which is now available on Netflix. I haven't bothered to see it, so I'm just gonna stay here.
It's good, and it's shot really beautifully, so the fact that you're probably gonna see it on Netflix is kind of a bummer because it should be seen. This is the new film from Dee Rees, who wrote and directed Pariah, which was a small indie about a teenager coming out. This is a much bigger movie.
She also did the Bessie Smith biopic on HBO with Queen Latifah.
There you go. And this is a much bigger movie. This is a much more ambitious movie, technically, thematically. It's about these two families. One is white, one is black. They're sharing the same land along the Mississippi Delta.
That sounds right.
I'm gonna go with that. And it's right after World War II, and it's how they live with each other and learn from each other, which sounds mawkish, but it's good. Take a look.
They work this land all they life.
I used to walking away from the fight. Not no more.
This land that never would be theirs.
You don't need to go, Jamie.
I can't stay here. They worked until they sweated.
You'll be okay.
They sweated until they bled. They bled until they died. Died clawing at the hard, brown back. That would never be theirs.
When I think of the farm, I think of mud. I dreamed in brown.
Way down in the water.
I mean, it's technically before, during, and after World War II, because there's a chunk of this movie where we see soldiers overseas.
There are aerial fight sequences in this movie.
Yeah, no, this is a big, like David Lean epic, and it's a we haven't really seen this kind of sprawling epic that also deals with the history of race in this country. I mean, you know, obviously there's a grandiosity to, like, you know, 12 Years a Slave and a lot of movies that have painted on a big palette, but this is next level stuff.
It has scale to it. It's like compared to Pariah, which is small. And,
very intimate. Yeah. And so it's exciting that, like, Dee Rees, I think, is an extraordinary filmmaker. Like, this is a black lesbian getting the keys to this, like, really big sprawling movie, and I'm excited about that. And I think so much of this movie it is great to look at. And yeah, if you were in New York or LA and you can see it on a screen, you should. And if you're gonna watch it on Netflix, and at least, like, you know, turn off the smoothing and, you know, like get on a nice big TV. I think the problem that I have with this movie is that it's based on a novel, and I haven't read the novel, but I feel like in watching the movie, I'm watching somebody trying to wrestle this thing to the ground, because there is so much narration.
There's a lot of voiceover,
so
a lot of perspectives,
narration.
yeah. And I didn't mind that so much because there's a bit of a Rashomon quality to the shift in perspective, and it does provide context, and it creates a complete picture, and it's a way to get to know people through their conflicting takes on the same series of events or the same place in which they live. So there's a lot of voiceover, I agree. I mean, maybe it is too overly reliant on that to drive the narrative, but I appreciate the actors are all so good that I appreciated the variety of perspectives.
But I think the reason it bugged me, and it's not like it's not like narration in general is a bad thing, although I think it can be ill used. I think that the film tells you what you need to know about those perspectives.
With water?
I'm good. It tells you what you need to know about those perspectives visually, and I think through the way it's shot and through the editing, we could have gotten all of that information. And it felt like, I don't know if it was the director, I don't know if it was Netflix being like, all these characters, people aren't going to keep track of it. You really need to, like, lay in some voiceover. But it took me out of the movie and became really distracting. And so that's sort of where I think the movie falls apart. But I think there's so much of it that's so good, a gigantic cast, and they're great. I mean, you know, Mary J. Blige is killing it.
She's very good in this, and the central relationship is between Garrett Hedlund and Jason Mitchell.
Right.
and they're lovely together, and that feels, again, it could have been sentimental, it could have been false, and they have a nice chemistry that evolves very naturally and feels very true by the end.
Yeah, they're both vets of the war, and they're the only ones the other one seems to know.
Yes.
So they kind of find this bond together in terms of understanding what they've been through and what they've endured and where they are now that other people just don't get.
Yeah, I want to mention really fast, the cinematographer is a woman, female DP, Rachel Morrison. She also shot Fruitvale Station, and she shot Dope. So you can feel the mud. I mean, they talk about the mud a lot because it is, they're right there in the water, and
the mud is not a metaphor in this movie. It's all
mud.
in it.
They're also kind of stuck in the mud in some ways.
Jason Clarke is Mudbound.
But you can hear it, you can feel it, and so it's very evocative in that way, the way it's shot.
Yeah, I think this movie does a lot right. It's a little disappointing just because I think it's so close to being truly great. But even as it is now, it's a movie I think people should see.
Yeah.
I think Dee Rees is definitely an important voice right now. I have taught Pariah in courses that I've taught, and yeah, I'm glad that she gambled this big and went after such a wide scope after making two films that are, I mean, like you said, Pariah, very intimate, and Bessie is at least a period piece, but it's still not nearly the scope of what she's doing here.
I feel like Pariah, wasn't it a Cassavetes nominee or winner at the Spirit Awards? I think Pariah was made for like under $500,000. This is clearly a much bigger movie. And I also want to say, I have not read the book either, but I understand that in the book, there's more of an emphasis on just the white family, and Dee Rees insisted that there be like equal footing for both, and that really that helps benefit and really strengthen our understanding of these people in this place. And anyway, it's really good. I'm giving it an 8.
I've talked myself up to a 7.
Good. Okay. Well, our number is 7.5. It's a 95% on the tomato meter. This is definitely going to be an awards contender in lots of categories. So go find it. Bye.